The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
A year ago, Republicans' signature $1.5 trillion tax cut went into effect. It promised job creation, economic growth, and trickle-down pay increases.
Now, a new report shows the massive and costly tax overhaul had no major impact on business spending. A new poll by the National Association of Business and Economics found that 84% of business leaders polled say they have not changed their hiring or investment plans. This is really important, that despite the fact that the corporate tax rate was slashed from 35 to 21%, they didn't change.
And there it is, people. The land of the free, the home of the stupid. We're going into a recession, people. And y'all got to understand this. Y'all got to understand that this whole administration has been built around preserving the wealth for the certain few. And most of these people are the Confederacy. You know, we've talked about this in one of my previous shows. Now, we're going to go into today's show about how to survive a recession. Some of y'all need to understand and know this because it's getting bad out here. The first few years of Trump's presidency, we had it good because of the simple fact that Obama saved this country. We was going into a deep recession with the banks failing, the housing bubble that burst, and he came in and straightened the ship. Nobody gave him credit for it. All of the good things that have been happening because of President Trump's first 2 years in office can be attributed to President Obama. And now, my greatest fear is that the next president that comes along after Donald Trump, he's going to have to deal with the mess that this man leaves behind. But you don't have to suffer. So on today's show, we're going to deal with how to survive a recession. And some of us have become consumers in life and not producers. And it's going to be hard on some of you consumers. Because if you base your life around getting a little twos and fews just so you can go out here and buy things up, you're not going to last. But before we get into that, we're going to get into the Masonic Journal. We have a masquerade ball coming up on September 28th. The lovely ladies of Assyria, chapter 2, they're going to be throwing a masquerade ball, and it's at 660 Lafayette Street, Nashville, Tennessee, 37204. That's 660 Lafayette Street, Nashville, Tennessee, 37204. Time starts at 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. At the door is $30 for singles, $40 for couples. Pre-sale of the tickets is $5 off. Now, like I've said before in my previous show, I've been to these events, and I'm gonna tell you, people, these events are good events. It's a grown folks party. It's not a kiddie party. Everybody in here grown and sexy, and they're having fun. Now, to enter in, you got to have a mask. Either you bring your own. It can be decorated. It could be a plain looking Zorro mask. Whatever it is, you got to have a mask to get in. And if you don't have a mask, you can purchase one at the door. Now, again, that event is September 28th. It's the 4th annual Masquerade Ball. And for my brothers at Nimrod 9, on November 9th, we're going to have a jean and blazer party. And I'm going to get the further details tomorrow on where it's going to be held at. We have 2 locations that we're looking at, and within a week or 2, we're going to have our eyes set on one of them, and I'm going to have more of that information for you where it's going to be held at. But on November 9th, it's going to be a jean and blazer party, and that's my brothers of Nimrod 9, and that's what we have today for the Masonic Journals. Now, to get back to the topic of the day, how to survive in a recession, there's a certain key points that we've gotten away from since the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and really beyond that. But in the 70s or 80s, we had a lot of Big Mom and them gardening and coupon saving and just basically doing certain things that they needed to do to feed their family, but it was at low cost to them. And now everything is the now and me generation, where people feel like it's embarrassing to plant crops in the back of their yard and things of that nature. But you looking at canned goods being 70 to $1.20, you can cut out at least 50% of your funds that you're using to go shopping. Now, a lot of us have gotten away from this, and we're going to discuss this on the second and third segment of the show. But first, I want to get into a few things that's going on in the newspaper, especially what's trending. I went to see that movie, Stephen King's It. It was scary as hell, people. It was scary as hell. I'm gonna tell you, it had quite a few jump scares in it, and it's a different adaptation. And this is for all my movie fans out here. I'm gonna give you what's trending. That's what I do here. I give you the news, I give you what's trending, I give you sports. But what's trending right now is the Stephen King's It, and Kevin Hart. He recently had a car accident, and he hurt his back real bad. My prayers go out to him and his family. And I think a couple of his friends was hurt. Inside the car accident. The car looked like it was totaled. So keep Kevin Hart in your prayers, and the reason why it made more headlines than just him getting banged around in a car accident is because soon after the car accident, he got sued by a woman who said him and his entourage bum rushed a storefront and pushed her out the way so hard that she shattered her face. So he's in the process of being sued by this woman because of that. So that's one of the things that's trending. Get to keep a lookout for. But Stephen King's it was a frightening movie, and it goes back to show you that sometimes being scared can cause things to happen even worse. Take that plunge, take that leap of faith. If you believe, take that leap of faith. And that was the whole premise of the movie. I hate to give you spoiler alerts, but that was the whole premise of the movie. The more these people were scared, the worse that Pennywise the clown, and you know how I made references to that. It seemed like we have a Pennywise the clown in the White House, but it seemed like Pennywise the clown got stronger the more you had fear in your heart. So if you haven't went out there and seen the movie yet, I think you should go see it, especially if you like that genre of movies, scary movies and horror movies and things of that nature. But I want to get in this newspaper today because the hurricane, it came through, and it's basically just a major storm now, but it hurt and damaged a lot of property and hurt and a lot of people. And by them diverting funds away from FEMA, which is something people need to watch out for, it's gonna cause even more damage and death, because people won't be able to recover and get their property fixed, get their lives back on track, because of a racist agenda of building a wall that we don't need. These people, they are illegal immigrants. Yes, they have broken the law, but there are other ways you can fix that besides building a wall that we don't need. The budget in our government is already strained to the breaking point, with these tariffs that they put on China and other countries, along with the tax cut for some of America's richest people. Now, I want to get into that because this is part of the reason why we finna have this recession. This is part of the reason why we finna have this recession, people. I just played that clip from Velsian rule, because I wanted you to understand that, these people are tax and economic experts. And trickle down economics, ever since Reagan tried to introduce it, has never worked. It's always been a bogus plan from the beginning. The idea is to give tax breaks to some of America's richest people in hope, that's the key word, people, in hope that they're going to pay you higher wages, in hope that they're going to hire more people. That's the key word, in hope. But see, what that does is it goes back to the robber barons. And a lot of us have forgotten our history on the robber barons. Is why we're doomed to repeat it. And I want to explain to you about the robber barons, because I've seen an article in here that was akin Donald Trump, what he and his administration is doing to the robber barons. And many of you have forgotten the history of that. You see, in the 30s and 40s, here it is. You see, in the 30s and 40s, there were men and women in this country who were so powerful in their own communities that, their kids can go out here and rape somebody. And just because these people hire damn near 50% of the people in that community to work in their factory, their textile mill, their cotton gin, people would cover it up. So the government had to step in and regulate these people. Now the people in that community have a safeguard for millionaires and billionaires that go out here breaking the law and doing certain things they're not supposed to. What that does is you got a number you can call. More than likely it's OSHA or the Better Business Bureau, or you can just call the federal government, the feds. And they'll come in and investigate these millionaires and billionaires. But back then, the robber barons didn't have that. These were rich and powerful businessmen and businesswomen after the Civil War who started jumping into oil, furs, stock market, the railroad, running the railroad from the east to the west coast. These were rich and powerful men and women who had things going on in their communities where they hired so many people. They were treated like kings in their own counties. They ran the sheriff department. They would go in and tell the sheriff who to lock up and who not to lock up. And that's what's going on today. You have two things going on today that's a repeat of history. Back when the robber barons were basically running the industrial country, you had a women's movement going on in the community about women's right to vote. Because back then, minorities and women couldn't vote. It was just white men. But the women were marching because they wanted the right to vote. And the robber barons were starting to get prosecuted because of practices that they was doing inside of their industry, dumping pollutants all in the rivers of America, harassing people, buying them out, making monopolies of their companies. So now you have a repeat of history. And the reason why we have a repeat of history is because we've forgotten the history. Now you have this Me Too movement, which is basically, gays and women who have been abused, they're marching. And then you have the return of the robber barons. People are coming back in our government, causing chaos and confusion and ripping and robbing us of money, which is basically what's happening. This trickle-down economics has never worked because people in the Republican Party are trying to give these multimillionaires and billionaires some kind of benefit of the doubt, like they're going to do what's right and pay you higher wages, and it's not going to happen, people. It's not going to happen. And then you add the tariffs. And let me break that down to you for my people that like for me to break it down to you. Our government is funded by taxes. The roads, the signs, potholes in roads, and all this stuff gets fixed by taxes. Okay. Now, the top 3% of American citizens are the richest amongst us. They have the money to pay a little more taxes. We don't. We're living from paycheck to paycheck. So what happened is they cut the revenue. They cut the revenue. And they was telling you that this is going to put money back into the businesses, and the businesses are going to in turn treat you better. That's not happening. They still have the same practices, the same hiring practices, and you still getting the same pay that you was getting before they started the tax cuts. Everything's still the same. Now what they've added on to it is they put tariffs on goods coming into this country. So not only is you getting the same pay, but now you got to pay higher wages when you go into a store and buy something simple like a soda, or buy a pair of jeans. So not only are these cats, fat cats, getting richer because they got a tax cut and they're not putting no more money on your table and in your pockets, but also you have to pay more because somebody has to get the end of it when the government puts tariffs on goods coming into this country. Everything in Walmart damn near is made from China or Taiwan. Every time I drive past a Walmart here in Murfreesboro, I see hundreds and hundreds of cars parked in Walmart. Every one of these people are going to have to pay higher taxes or higher cost for whatever they want to buy out of Walmart. This is facts, people. This is not something made up. This is facts. So not only are you getting the same pay, but now you have to pay more while these fat cats are getting richer. It's going into a recession. And that's why today's show on my second and third segment is going to be based around how you're going to survive this recession. Because a lot of us minorities, when most of the people in America go through a recession, we go through a depression. A depression is 10 times worse than a recession. When they have it bad, they still can eat chicken on at night. We have it bad. We got to go to canned goods and free churches. That's the difference. So we're gonna get into that, and I'm gonna take this quick commercial break, and when I come back, we'll talk about we'll start off talking about how we're gonna survive this recession that's coming.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
September 28th, the 4th annual Masquerade Ball, ladies and gentlemen. September 28th, the 4th annual Masquerade Ball will be thrown by Assyria Chapter 2, the lovely ladies of Assyria Chapter 2. It will be held at 660 Lafayette Street, Nashville, Tennessee, 37204. The time will be at 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. At the door is $30 for singles, $40 for couples, and if you get your tickets early, it'll be $5 off. And now I want all of my people to come out for this one, y'all. This is going to be something special. These ladies, they throw a good party every year, and you need to attend this. If you don't have a mask, you can get one at the door. You can purchase one for $1. Again, that's September 28th, the 4th annual Masquerade Ball. It's going down, Nashville.
Business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
All right, good people, and we're back with the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. And as we were going to do a quick recap on the first segment, we was talking about how the government tax cut on America's top 3% of the wealthy people in America and the damage it's going to do to everybody else. It's called trickle down economics, people. And trickle down economics has never worked. It never worked when Ronald Reagan tried it, and the Republicans have been trying to push this idea for the last at least 30, 40 years, and it's not working. You know, they're bringing back the robber barons. They're bringing back people who were scrupulous. You know, they didn't have any morals about themselves. It was all about them and their families. And they didn't care whether you lived or survived. You know, and we got to understand this. You know, you got people like John Jacob Astor. You know, he was a fur magnate. You have the James Fish family. These were financiers. You know, these were robber barons of their time. These were people like Donald Trump who, you know, every chance they get, they would go into a local government like a county, set up businesses, and squeeze all the smaller people out, and practice, you know, amoral, trade secrets and things of that nature to squeeze you out and basically leave you poor. And if you was a minority, you really got it. You know, you really wasn't finna have any wealth built. You know, we even had so-called Black Wall Street. You know, they burnt that down to the ground. I might do something on that on another show. But you know, even Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller, you know, the oil magnate. You know, these men and women who were they're celebrated today, but back then, you know, they were vicious men, and they didn't care about you, the kids, or anything that's going on. And that's what we see today in our government. Now, to get on the topic of the day of how to survive in a recession, we need to get back to things like, you know, especially here in the South. You have backyards, people. There's nothing wrong with, you know, growing peas and watermelon and things of that nature, because you can reduce the cost of the things you buy in a grocery store by at least 40%. You know, I won't quite make it 50%, by at least 40%, because meat is so high, and you know, things of that nature that your kids and yourself need is so high that you could eliminate 40% if you simply do something so simple as you know, going to a co-op and buying seeds. You know, my mother, she has a farm, well, not a farm, but you know, she does you know, she plants crops, you know, and people laugh and everything like that because, like I said, this is a different era. But I can remember when we first came down here from Chicago. See, in Chicago, we didn't have yards where you can go and you know, plant crops. You know, everything was concrete and sidewalks. And then when you get here, back in the 70s and 80s, everybody had small little patches of gardens in their backyard. I still remember coming down here and visiting Miss Hottes. We call her Mama Hottes. She was, and a lot of my Facebook family and friends, they know who I'm talking about. Mama Hottes Gentry. She had huge sunflower seed plants in her front yard. And in Chicago, we used to go buy sunflower seeds all the time, and I never knew where they came from. It scared me to death when I first seen a sunflower plant. It was as tall as me. And you know, these were the practices and things that they did, you know, sitting around, a bunch of old elder women sitting around shelling peas, you know, cucumbers, cutting up cucumbers, making pickles and things of that nature. And it kept them from having to keep running down to the grocery store for little simple things that they need. So we got to teach our youth young and make it fun for them. You know, teach your youth young when they 5 and 6. That way they won't be embarrassed when they turn 16 and 17 and 18 years old and their friends pull up on a bike and say, hey man, what you over there doing? Man, I'm over here in the garden. You know, I'm back here, God, I'll be with y'all in a minute. Matter of fact, y'all come over here and help me. Because if you start them off young, they won't be embarrassed. You can't wait till they 16 and 17 and say, hey, come on back out here in the garden and help me. Because the embarrassment is set in. Because they're not used to that. So now, when their friends ride up on a bike and see them back there, you know, digging holes in the ground, planting seeds, you know, they're gonna not want to do it. They're gonna run off with their friends. So we got to start them off early and show them that, you know, these are things that we can do to save money. Now, I'm not telling you to go out here and get you some cows and chickens, because number one, the USDA they regulate stuff like that, because you can get all kinds of different poultry diseases, you know, if you're not a farmer and you got cows and pigs and chickens and stuff like that. But something simple as a cucumber patch, watermelon patch, you know, and people might laugh at first, but then when the watermelons get ripe and you go around passing them out to people in the neighborhood, you know, you're going to see other people with small little gardens springing up around the backyard, you know. So these are just small little practices that we can do in the minority community to you know, advance us and keep a little wealth in our pocket. Because, you know, my show is always about building the wealth in the minority community, because we need this. And we need it, people. The recession is coming. It's right around the corner. And if y'all think for 1 minute that this crooked man in the White House is going to somehow miraculously stop the recession, it's not going to happen. He's going to do as much damage to this country as he can, because I've already told you he's a Russian stooge. The man is bought and paid for by the Russian Federation. That's who he is. You know, he's been dealing with the Russian mafia ever since he was dealing with boxing back in Las Vegas. That's what's going on with this guy. And the Republicans know it. They just so stuck on holding on to power and putting federal judges in key spots around this country that they're blinded. They got hatred in their heart. You know, America's getting too brown. There's too many brown people here, and it's squeezing them out. They have to share the wealth. And that's what's happening, people. They're terrified. So, you know, do something simple as put you up a few pieces of crop in the backyard. It ain't got to be no big thing. You know, something where you can get you some string beans. So you won't have to go down there and buy canned goods. Get you some fruit, some watermelon, so you won't have to go down there and buy candy and all kinds of stuff like that for kids. That takes up a lot of money. You know, a pack of candy is $3 or $4. You can go get a pack of seeds to get you some fruit that's healthy for you and sweet for maybe 60 cents. 60 cents, people. You know, this is simple stuff. And everybody knows where you can get seeds from. If you don't, you got a phone, Google it. You know, Google where can I pick up the nearest seeds in a co-op. If you don't live in an area that has a co-op, most of the grocery stores still have sections where you can literally go buy packs of seeds of whatever plant that you want to plant. So something as simple as that, and it can save you money, people, because you know, I'm not going to stop there. I got a few other items and things of that nature that's going to help you through this recession that's coming, because that's what this show is about. It's always about wealth building within the minority community, and I'm gonna try to give you things that's positive, uplifting, but at the same time things that can help you, you know. And if you're not down with the digging in the dirt and planting, there are other things we can do, and we're going to get into that on the next segment. But I just want to let you know that the recession can cause great damage to you people. You know, because what happens is that car breaks down while you're in a recession. You're already struggling. Now you have car problems. You know, trying to figure out where the next dime, the next money you're gonna get to fix this car, where it's gonna come from. Your kid might need some soccer cleats. You know, and see, this is money that you can be putting back and saving just by doing something simple as starting your garden. So we're going to get into on the last segment, we're going to get into what you can do also during the time of recession when I come back off this commercial break.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Okay.
And we're back, people. This is the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. And as always, like I told you, we're going to do our sports on the last segment of the show. And we just made the call. You know, we're doing a sports call to Brother Porter. Hey, Brother Porter, how you doing?
I'm feeling good, brother. It is my birthday. And
Okay.
as usual, when I'm off, I'm out on the grill, chefing it up, right?
Okay.
So,
I seen some of the pictures. I seen some of the pictures of the barbecue. Yeah, yes.
Did you start salivating when you seen it?
You know it, man.
Well, hey, you gotta come get your plate, bro. You ain't that far away.
Well, you know, I got some editing and things to do for my show, and I wish I could run down there real quick. But what you got lined up for me for today for the sports call?
Well, I want to say the first thing that I would like to say is that I don't care what nobody say. The first football game of the year, which was the Bears and the Packers, was a struggle. And I hope that that's the best thing we see all season. I want to see them struggle. We don't need no powerhouses. We don't need no cheating. I like a struggle. Aaron Rodgers pulled it through. It took him 4 quarters to actually confirm it because the Bears weren't playing. You know, they new quarterback. He ain't what was the old quarterback? You remember the old quarterback name?
I can't think of the old quarterback name for the
He
Bears.
started with a C though, but he was garbage. Right? I'm from Chicago. I like the Bears. I'm always gonna like the Bears. I'm a Saints fan, right?
Yeah,
That's where
yeah.
you're gonna see the real deal game tomorrow. It's gonna be the Saints. The Saints gonna be on Monday Night Football, but that's gonna be the real champ. You get a chance to see the real true champions.
Okay, man. So who won that tennis match?
Who journalist? What that tennis match?
Yeah. Kurslava.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna get her name, man, cause she's a rising star. She's a rising star in the tennis world. I think she's black and Japanese or something like that.
No, she is actually from Japan. I mean, not Japan. She's from Russia.
Oh, okay.
She's a Russian girl. She's about 15 years old though. But you got a few of them young girls that's really going good in tennis. And I think the one that you're referring to is Bowles. Is that her last name? She beat Serena Williams.
Yeah, I heard that.
So these young millennials is stepping up to the plate. But hey, I'm looking at the game right now. I got the Titans driving, right? Go 6-3. everybody's saying Cleveland going to be a real strong team to watch this year because they had the best draft picks.
Okay.
Offensive and defensive, right?
Okay.
So that's going to be a real key thing to watch, though. But 6-3, I hope everybody that's playing football this year is struggling this year. I want it to be a battle on every game. That way we don't have no cheating.
Right.
If they give Tom Brady another ring, they're going to quit.
And you know what? For the last several months, well, actually, the last several years, there have been some people claiming that there have been some cheating in the NFL too. So.
Oh yeah, you cheated my boy. I gotta speak on that, but I don't even want you brought something that's a touchy subject to me. I ain't got over it. But this dude, he done deflated the air out the football. He done cheated, listened to other teams play. And my guys, Drew Brees, gave a $5,000 check to a brother for laying the smack down on Brett Favre.
Oh,
Remember
wow.
that?
I heard about the cheating that was going on, man, and
they done destroyed my team.
Yeah, they say it's messing up the NFL.
These Cowboy fans can't stand me. They ain't won nothing since before my little kids was born. They ain't won nothing. My kids don't know nothing about the Cowboy Nation. You know what I'm saying? It ain't none of that.
Right.
But what we got right now here going on is it should be a repeat. It should be a repeat of the last 4 teams that was in the Super Bowl. I'm giving you my pre-prediction right now.
Okay.
The last 4 teams, because you can't stop Tom Brady. He is a GOAT. He's not a GOAT rider, but he's a GOAT.
Right,
okay?
right.
Yeah.
It's about time for him to retire. It's about time for him to retire, ain't it?
I think as long as they keep on kissing on him and loving on him, they're going to give him some extra stuff. I don't know what their connection is with him and the commissioner, but him and the commissioner got a special relationship.
Okay.
You know, hey, but I'm still not on my ground. I know you're coming around because you smell it. I'm sorry, but it's down like that. They're coming and trying to hit the grill, but hey, I'm saying, hey.
So what you think?
Good, man.
So what you think about the deal that Jay-Z made with the NFL?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Jay-Z. I think he's one of the best lyricists that we've ever had, ever.
Okay.
I think that in the game, right? But I think some of his stuff is just because he got money and it's not really, really rational on what need to happen. I mean, we already know what didn't happen with him in Brooklyn, right?
Right.
Brooklyn Nets, right? Because
Right.
he got that off the ground, right? And I don't know what's going on with him. He has no relation, no attachment to it or whatever. But he needs to put some money in so we can see what's going on for real. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think that.
Because I know
I'm
it's
not
been
a real big Jay-Z fan because he's saying some real controversial stuff.
right.
You know,
Well, you know, me
at every
personally,
level.
I'm a Nas fan. You know, I think Nas is a better lyricist, but Jay-Z promotes himself better. You know, so I'm a Nas fan. I'm a long time Nas fan, man. But Jay-Z promotes himself better.
He's on my top 5. He's on my top 5.
Yeah.
He's
He's definitely in the top 5.
Most definitely, Jay-Z is in the top 3. I'll put him up there with that. But I'm gonna have to go with Pop because I don't get anybody else to speak the truth like Pop.
Okay.
So, I'm a Pop guy.
Okay. You
So
know.
that don't matter. But hey, I will say this thing: Rest in peace in the top 10, and then they had a hellified jump shot.
Okay. Well, you know, speaking of jump shot, Shaq just came out with an app. That he came. I seen this in the newspaper. He got an app out that's a job application where you can get online and you can download it to your phone and it'll help you find gigs. Now these are not full-time jobs, but they're gigs. Like you can walk you can walk a person's dog, or you can house sit somebody's dog for a week and maybe get paid $200-300, you know. And I thought it was some garbage at first. Look, I want you to look into that, man. I thought it was some garbage at first, but I actually downloaded the app.
I checked it out because I even seen something the other day that I saw on the news flicker that said that Vince Young, you remember Vince Young?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember Vince Young.
Okay, Vince Young is a grocery bagger.
Oh, really?
I seen this, right?
Uh-huh.
You know, but I do want to give a shout out to a couple of players. A couple of players like I ain't even talking about Antonio Brown in America. I mean, he ain't a nigga, but he wrong for that what he did, right?
Right.
You hear me?
I
don't
hear
mean
you.
to call him that like that, but he wrong for what he done. Because you know what? These young guys got to know how to get to the league and make some money, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to take somebody that's been used to seeing drama and all this and all that and take them and change their game plan and their thinking, right?
Right.
Because the money comes to them and they still got the same dreams they had, but ain't nobody putting them in the right direction. And I think that's what's wrong with Antonio Brown. He should have did something serious and he should have been strong with what he's doing because he got the most talent. He's a talented guy.
Right.
And that's what happened to our brothers. I feel that's wrong. Our brothers are strong out here, bro.
And you know what? I just seen this in the newspaper. It says Antonio Brown is already wearing out his welcome. Yeah, it was just in the newspaper. You just talking about it. They're trying to rebuild the Raiders, and you know they wondering if they got the right man for the job. I think they're trying to.
America has got to a point where they got to assassinate any black man that's gonna stand up and be strong. They got to put them down some kind of way.
Right.
America's got to that point, right?
Right.
So it don't take much for them. They don't talk about the rapists. They don't, up in Pittsburgh, my dude straight raped that girl, beat her up, raped her, ain't seen that what's name wrong. They ain't do nothing to him. He did stuff. Fondling, that's called rape to me.
Right. If it's especially if it gets the will.
They don't talk about that. They get that stuff real quick. You know what I'm saying? But these brothers, see, they get that. I wish I had another avenue where I could put them on and I could say, look, I want y'all to put your money in this direction, and you got to go to this kind of class and learn how to talk to this person and that person, and that way everything be on the level, and you come up. Nobody's reaching out to these brothers. These brothers looking out for these dollars. And when they get to the NFL, they got extra money, extra ammunition, and extra fuel, and extra food. And that's what's happening.
Okay.
And I hate to see that.
Okay.
I hate to see that because it's happening over and over and over again.
Well,
right?
That's why I do this show, man, because, we got to get it back understood that we need to push our children into something besides entertainment. Sports is cool. Sports is cool. Right. They got to start thinking of more than just running a football and dribbling a basketball, because our community and our lives are at stake.
Bill Gates 20 years ago said that America was going to be obese. He created these little hover rounds, these little things people riding down the sidewalk, the little bird scooters. He created this stuff way before that. And he said it was going to happen because people ain't going to have no drive to go and do nothing. Right? Okay, so this is what's done happen. We done got lazy. We done got fat. I'm dealing with it myself.
Well, I picked up a few pounds myself.
You got to take care of yourself.
Yes, you do.
It's the bottom line thing. When you start taking care of yourself, and then you really striving. I'm going to start jogging this week. I can't start eating this barbecue because it's 5 in the morning.
Okay. Well, Porter, today's show, I'm gonna get back to the show, man. I appreciate your call, but today's show is on how to survive a recession, and that's part of what we're talking about here today. We got to get back to things like gardening, like we did back in the 80s and the 70s, where people used to shell peas and they used to pickle, put vegetables in pickle jars and things of that nature. And these are just small things that can help you out during these trying times.
Man, I think that we forgot how to take care of our people all the way around. And we got people like Trump, and we got these other people that's riding with him because they know that Trump stuff is not right. They know that Trump is not right.
That's right.
Ride with him, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to be the person that says, no, I ain't with it.
Right.
So in the masses, they losing themselves. They losing themselves because they don't know how to. They don't know what they've done. They created everything that's out here in the eyesight of the people, but they don't want to let it get right.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Everything that we dealing with right now, okay? Police brutality. Who created that? Them, right?
That's right.
Poverty. I'm gonna go on poverty, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in a community where money is low, right? Why would you take a grocery store where people need to eat at, where they don't have anything, to eat at? Why would you take a grocery store from them people for your gentrification stuff? You're not doing right.
Right.
You're not doing right.
Right.
You're not doing right.
Well,
I
I appreciate you, Brother Porter, and I can't wait till next week what you have for me, man, in the sports world. And I'm gonna get back to the show. And ladies and gentlemen,
I double-sided. If you want to get me on the politics, I'm a politicker.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? But the real thing is, I'm gonna help you with the sports because you're my brother. You know what I'm saying?
That's
we're gonna
right.
learn this stuff together, me and you. I might not know everything, but we're gonna get it together. Right?
Okay. I appreciate that, man.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Travel
All
light.
right, Brother Gentry.
Travel light,
Travel
Brother
light,
Porter.
rest of the week.
And that was the sports call with Brother Porter. Brother Porter, I've been knowing Brother Porter almost 2 or 3 years now. He's a real solid brother, and he knows the in and outs of sports, people. That's his thing. You know, he gets political sometimes, but he knows them sports. He knows the stats, he knows the players, and he knows what's going on. And I'm gonna keep him on the show, keep him in tune. I got a couple more guys I probably could reach out to and call too about the sports, but my go-to guys right now is Brother Porter. But let me wrap this show up and get back to on this last segment on surviving this recession, people. We've already talked about how we can do something simple as planting crops in our backyards. You know, because that slight news clip that I played at the beginning of the program about trickle-down economics, it doesn't work, people. It doesn't work. It never has worked. Because if you give the multimillionaires and billionaires the opportunity to keep even more billions and millions in their pocket, they're going to secure it. Not just for them, but for their generations, their kids, their grandkids. They're not thinking about breaking bread with somebody who works in one of their factories. They don't care nothing about that. It never has worked, people. A recession is coming, and the people in the markets, they are saying that it might hit around January, February next year. That means people are going to start losing jobs. People are going to get laid off. It's already happening. It's already happening. It's already happening, people. Ford just laid off hundreds of workers. They just laid off hundreds of workers. You know, so it's already happening, people. It's coming. So if you work in the industry of oil and gas, steel, or farming, those are the major markets that the president and his administration has put tariffs on. Those tariffs are going to crush those industries. And we've already did a tax cut to some of America's wealthiest people. So that recession is coming. And, you got to be prepared for it. The next thing on my list as being prepared is to do something as simple as smart shopping. Now, people think they know what smart shopping is, and I haven't even mastered it yet. I have not mastered the art of smart shopping, but I try, because I can't go out here in my backyard and plant a garden. My yard is too small. I have a decent little backyard back there, but it's too small to plant me a decent sized garden. But if you can't literally go out here and plant you a garden and grow you a few things, to bring in and can up, then practice smart shopping. I got a friend of mine, his name is Fontaine. Now this brother right here, he does smart shopping. You know, I've seen this brother literally, get a roast, shred it up, and eat off of it 3 or 4 days. This is all a part of smart shopping, people. And this whole Me Too generation of where, I don't eat this, I don't eat that, I don't do this, I don't do that. You're not gonna survive this recession. It's gonna be hard on you. When the money gets too low, people start doing crazy things. Crime rate shoots up. And let's get into this smart shopping though. Most people don't like places like Save-A-Lot because I've been to some rundown in the hood Save-A-Lots. The meat's nasty, and I understand why people don't want to go shop there. But spend a little extra gas money to go into the more wealthier neighborhoods that have a Save-A-Lot, because believe me, people, Save-A-Lot is everywhere. I've seen Save-A-Lots in the hood that I wouldn't recommend nobody going to. And then I've seen Save-A-Lots in the wealthier neighborhoods that look like, they look like Publix. They look like some good stores. So move around. Don't just be selling. Don't settle for, what's in your surrounding area because it's immediate and it's good for you. There are, Aldi's. I didn't see too many Aldi's down here when I first came down to the South, but slowly over the years, I've seen Aldi's and stores like that popping up all over the South and places like that. Shop around. If you don't want to get your meats at a place that you feel like the meat's quality is not good, move around. Stick with the same type of store, but move around to another neighborhood. Because believe me, there are some stores like Aldi's and Save-A-Lot that you can literally walk into and you won't believe that this is an actual Save-A-Lot. You be like, man, I never knew Save-A-Lot had quality like this. And you're gonna run across the ones that as soon as you walk in, it smells bad. They don't take care of the place. The meat don't look too good. You're gonna run across places like that, especially in the neighborhood, in the hoods of America. But spend that extra gas money, get on that bus and drive down, quite a few blocks to the wealthier neighborhoods, and I guarantee you, you're gonna walk in those low income grocery stores, and you're gonna be amazed. You're gonna be like, man, I didn't even know they had a Aldi's or Save-A-Lot that looked like this. You got to make them moves like that if you want to survive this recession, because it's coming, people. It's coming. So if you add those two things, if you can, now, like I say, some people can't grow gardens, but if you can do the gardening and on top of that, do smart shopping, you can literally survive this. And there are other things you can do, such as I talked about the business license. If you have a business license, you can literally buy wholesale products and produce with your business EIN number. These are tricks of the trade, people. I'm giving you the game. This is what the upper class, I'm not going to just say white people, because there's quite a few black people do it too. But this is what the upper middle class do. They go out here and they might have them business license that they ain't really using that well, but the EIN number is good, and they can go buy them some jeans and shoes and all of that stuff, groceries on their business tax number. This wholesale. Of course they're gonna have to divvy up and maybe pay taxes on this stuff at the end of the year. But this is still to help them out now. until this recession is over with. So these are just some things that we can do in the minority communities to better our lives and produce wealth for us and our children, and keep pushing ahead, without letting what's coming take you under. Because some of you gonna be taken under, and ain't gonna be no help for you. Then that's when the crime gonna go up. So this is the Daily Read, and I'll see you all next Sunday. Thank you.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.